Everyone.
Hello.
So happy to introduce Caroline England, who starts off with an intro to you and your books, Caroline.
Right. Okay. If I can remember who I am. Oh, it's weird. It doesn't even feel like Monday, does it? So if I get my name wrong, just give me a little nudge. So yeah, I'm Caroline England, and I'm the author, Manchester-based author, and the Duchess of Dark Domestic Noir author. Great thing Helen Fields called me. Of 6 psychological suspense novels. The last one, which is just out on Thursday, The Stranger Beside Me, and 4 books as C.E. Rose, and they are psychological thrillers with a hint of the Gothic, and they're over there. And so just have a quick peek. These are them. You can tell the books look like they've got a bit of a hint of the Gothic, don't they? So that's me. Yeah.
And it's always a pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
Although it's always slightly weird when you talk to someone else called Caroline, isn't it? And then you just talk to someone with your own name.
Yeah, but it's funny because you're more of a Kaz than a Caroline, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm probably more a Caroline than a Kaz, although I was Kazzy when I was little. But because my Twitter handle is Kaz England, a lot of people call me Kaz. So yeah, it is confusing. But we're the two Kazers, like the two Ronnies. Yeah.
There you go. And I was with another Caroline earlier today. I'm having a very Caroline heavy day.
Oh, wow. Well, do you know, there was a time when there were hardly any other Carolines. There were a few at school. Then they seem to all disappear. And I feel as though they've made a comeback, all the Carolines.
See, I don't think I knew any at school, but I work with one at school. And we've got obviously the same first name. We've got our surnames start with the same letter, and we're both married to a James.
Wow. Could all get confusing. You could take the wrong one home.
We could. I mean, you don't tend to mistake mine for anyone else's because he's so tall.
You sure hers isn't tall as well? It could be quite intriguing, this story.
I don't think he's quite as tall. I don't think anyone's like, there's a few people.
Oh.
Quite as tall. Sam said hello, and so was Laura. Laura said she got your C.E. Rose books recently in a works deal.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, right. Well, I do hope you enjoy them, Laura, because I know that the works is great. I think they've sold out now. I've not seen any for a while. But it's so good to try an author that maybe you haven't tried before, because you feel as though you're not going to pay too much money if you don't like them. So hopefully you do. And yeah, because the annoying thing is that the sort of middle one, well, the third one, The Shadows of Rutherford House, that I think that might be the best one, but that didn't go into the works. So one out of the works if you're buying them from there. But yeah, that one, that's this one, The Shadows of Rutherford House. It's got the best rating reviews on Amazon of that one. But what can you do? Yeah. But Malcolm's there. Yeah. Hi, Malcolm.
How does the works work for an author then? Because I know it's a good offer for us as readers. Like we go, like I love the works for books. It's brilliant. Like I often buy ones for author chats and things from there.
Yeah.
I like a paperback, so it's quite nice.
Yeah.
But do you get the same kind of money back for your books from having them in the works?
Well, here's a little bit of inside information. I don't know if it's the same for all authors, but I recently got an email about it, and basically I will get 6p a book. So that's a lot, not? But having said that, it's just great to get the books out there. And if readers pick them up, you know, because they're getting what is it now? 3 for £6, is it? It used to be 3 for £5, I think, and it's gone up. And I just take the view that if people find them in work stores and pick them up and like them, then hopefully they'll like my other books and become a fan. So you know that it's not all bad, is it? And I'm really pleased to see them on bookshelves. I really like that. So I'm fine. And at the end of the day, I'm sort of not here for the money, and it's a good job I'm not. I'm here for the love of the writing and the pleasure of being published and everything. And maybe if ever I make money out of this, I'll take a different view and think, oh, no, no, I'm certainly not doing that. But I'm not nearly anywhere near at that level, so it's fine.
Do you
So,
get like 6 pence a book from other booksellers as well, or is that just the works?
sorry, say that again.
Do you
Six
get
p.
more
No.
than that from other
Well, I
booksellers?
think you get more. Do you know, I've never worked it out how much you actually get because with my Caroline England books, I got an advance and it wasn't a huge advance. So I've never earned anything over the advance. So I've no idea. And for my first 2 books, which were with HarperCollins, it's really good because I got monthly statements, which is more fun because you're getting like a monthly tuppence. I can't work out the statements; they're too complicated. So whatever, I don't know. I'm sure it must be more than 6p, but who knows?
You probably I think you're selling yourself short there because you're a very clever lady.
Well, the thing is, there's not a lot you can do, is there? If that's just the way it is. But yeah, so I'm not going to be buying my luxury yacht in the Mediterranean yet. But watch this space.
As we can get more people to buy more books. You have to sell a lot
Yeah,
of
buy
them,
my books, then I can
aren't
buy a
you?
boat. Come on, people. I need a bigger boat. Hi, Daniel.
Trevor Belshaw and Mel Pittman have said hello as well.
Oh, right. I can't see them yet, but hello as well.
Hopefully, some of them say Facebook user.
Ah, right. I see. Ah, Mel's lovely. My #1 fan, Mel.
Look at that. See, and she's there to say hello. Mel is great, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm,
And it's nice to see Malcolm, 'cause I haven't seen Malcolm for ages. He's been hiding. Oh, right. It's Laura saying it's 12p from library loans too. I just think, I think that's really good about libraries because before I became a published author, I was very, very naive. I didn't realise authors got paid for library books. So although it's only a small amount, it's good. It's really better than nothing, isn't it? So that's
someone told me, and I don't know how true this is everywhere, but someone told me that if authors choose not to take their library money, so like
yeah.
some of the really big authors might choose not to, what they don't take gets divided up amongst all the other authors.
Really, isn't that lovely?
I don't know if that's true for everywhere, but I did hear
I
that
think that's
somewhere.
so nice. And also, I mean, I know people go, oh, well, they can afford to, sort of thing. Like Richard Osman paying for drinks at Harrogate, and people go, oh, well, he can afford to do that. But I still think it's a really lovely gesture, nonetheless, because I'm sure there's lots of authors that wouldn't. So good on them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about the strange. Tell us something about the stranger beside me. Tell us what you can about the stranger beside me.
Yes, that's the
With your
trouble.
books, it's hard to
Yeah, I
help,
know.
isn't it, with giving stuff away?
I think what I can tell you is that the story, I should know what it. I've been reading all the reviews because obviously it was only out Thursday, so I should be hot on what it's about. At least what I can reveal. Yeah, it revolves around 2 women, Katie and Sabine. And Sabine is not the proper Irish pronunciation is I think Shabale or something. But anyway, she's always called herself Sabine, and or Sib, and they meet at Sib's father's funeral, and they sort of hit it off against the odds because they're completely different characters. Katie is quite shy, and for the last 5 years, she's been a recluse basically. She has a 4-year-old son, but her mum died in a car crash and it hit her really badly, and she suffers from this dreadful fatigue. And thank goodness she lives with her dad, who is there to pick up the pieces and help out and look after. And then, so she makes friends with feisty Sabine. Well, Sabine's a completely different character. She's a great businesswoman. She's confident. She doesn't care what anyone thinks about anything, but she's out of control because right at the beginning of the book, she gate crashes a funeral, another funeral. We've got a few funerals in this book. And she gate crashes a funeral of her lover, who was a married man. So she's suffering from this dreadful, dreadful grief, but she can't share it with anybody because obviously she was a secret, not even her brother Gabriel, with whom she is very close. And so because she's out of control, she's boozing, she's drinking too much, and she's basically stalking her lover's wife and son. She goes and stalks their house. So that's the sort, you're getting the gist of two completely different women coming together. And initially, Kate is sort of, I suppose, smitten by Sabine and just loves being, because she's so vibrant. And but then things start to turn, and she starts to think, actually, is Sabine a person I can actually trust? But then again, maybe Katie's got secrets of her own as well. Because obviously, in all my books, nothing is what it seems.
I was just gonna say, I am sure she does because it's one of your books.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There's
So
little nods back to kind of, you've got funerals in this one, but then you had the sinner as well. You have little nods back to kind of religion quite often
yes,
in
yeah,
your book.
yeah. Yeah, I know. It's funny, isn't it? So you don't even realize sometimes how things are connected in your books, but yeah, it's true. Ooh, weirdo. But also, The Sinner is set in Didsbury, which is my village here. Whereas The Stranger Beside Me, it was originally also set in Didsbury. And I thought, I can't have another one in my village where all these things go on. So I've moved it slightly to a place called Cheadle, which is just down the road. And it's also in a place called Whalley Range, which has these gorgeous old houses, old Victorian houses in Whalley Range. And it's sort of set in there in the house, the main story, and all the secrets are within that house. So
Is that quite fun when you go in to look for like locations? Is it quite fun to go like browsing for houses and?
yeah, it's I don't sort of do it so much intentionally. In the past I've set it in like friends' houses, my brother-in-law's house, and so only because it's easier to, I think, write if you can imagine where you're going in the house. But I think, as I mentioned perhaps on another occasion, my C.E. Rose books are very much set in the house, to the extent the setting is almost a character in itself. So for those, for example, the attic at Wilton Place, which was my last one, have I got that here? Oh, it's over there. The one that came out in March, and I think we might have discussed it at the time. But that's set in one of those grand properties, like they're townhouses, but they on the Crescents, and they must be worth several £1,000,000. So obviously, I didn't go and stalk that one. I did it online stalking, and same as with the second one, the House on the Water's Edge. That was based on a properties I'd actually been in, but the others are, I think, stolen from the internet of those particular books.
Is that, can you get enough information off the internet for something like that? Because if your house is like almost part of the story, do you need to have things like floor plans and stuff to help you write it?
And not really. I think it's more from the internet, looking at the outside and looking at all the properties. Like, for example, the first one, The House of Hidden Secrets, is set in a sprawling old listed farmhouse. And so I could see from the photographs a really long drive they had, and all the outhouses they had either side, and the actual beautiful farmhouse itself. But I think all the inside bits are all me and my imagination, all the dusty old furnishings, and or the eloquent, all the so I think part is me looking at, I think that just sets me off. Yeah, if I look, it sets me off, and then my imagination takes over.
What sets off like the story in your head? Do you find like a location and go from there, or do you come up with like a person or a
Yeah,
theme first?
I've been thinking about this a lot sort of recently, because I wish at the time I was sort of more conscious of how I'm doing it. But I've come to the conclusion that I think of something sparks me off, like that would be a good twist or even an ending or a secret. And then I mull and mull and mull on it. And then I think my next bit is finding a character or two and sort of creating the character in my head. And then I think once I've got the characters and I've named them, because that's hard, isn't it? Naming them, you have to feel comfortable with the name. Then I think that sets me off, and I just go then. And I suppose the setting for my C.E. Rose ones is more. Well, no, the setting is important for them all, but I don't quite know where that comes in. I think it's all part of this mulling. I mull a lot in the bath or in bed before I go to sleep, and I'm just thinking, my mind's just flicking over ideas, and then I think you get to the point where you're just ready to start writing and just see where you go. So,
Mel
oh,
wants,
someone,
yeah,
yeah, go on.
Mel. She says, "Do you name your characters after people you know?"
Well, I suppose in a way, no, because the danger there is someone might be offended, or if you want, it's not a very nice character. Um, it'd be bad if you gave them a name of, someone might be offended, even if you think that character's a bit of a cow or whatever. So you have to be careful. So I think it's the other way. I think I'm very carefully trying to think of, unless it's a nice character and I want to give a nice character a name, um, but I think like a character who has the surname Brownlee and another character who has the surname Morfitt. That was because they were nice characters. Although maybe I should stop doing that because maybe I'm giving away their nice characters and not nasty characters. So maybe Maston's going to be the next baddie.
I'm alright with that.
You're okay with a baddie?
I think some people are. Like I've done chats with people, and like people in the audience have been like, yeah, I'd be like a victim, or
Yeah,
whatever.
being a victim isn't so bad, but I think some of my characters are really, can be in some of the books, a really dreadful thing, and I just think, well, I could offend somebody.
I think if it's fiction, maybe you're seeing yourself in fiction do something you never would do. Like Jenny O'Brien wrote me into one of her books, and I'm like this man-eating kind of person, and I am with the only man I've ever like gone out with still.
I thought you meant
This
when you said
day,
man-eating,
but
I thought you meant to cannibal.
no, not like a
I
cannibal,
thought
like
literally,
this proper kind of like flirty kind of, you know, after all the guys kind of person. And I'm like, this is
oh,
great because this is in fiction that I'm not in real life. I don't mind.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's you living another life,
Exactly. You get to
in
see
the book.
yourself in a different way, don't you? Simon, she loves seeing herself in the Sinner.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, well, when the film comes out, wouldn't that be nice?
If you did get a TV show or a film made of one of your books, would you do like an author cameo in it?
Oh yeah, wouldn't that be fun? That'd be really good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I thought you could say, would I play one of the characters? But no.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Oh, well, if you
yeah,
did, what would you play as one of the
yeah. I
characters?
don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I'd be a character. But yeah, it wouldn't that be nice to be like Alfred Hitchcock and just someone could spot and go, there she is. Do we know from any modern authors that we know have they made a? I think Mark Billingham was a cameo in one of his, wasn't he? I think Lee Child. Well, I know Lee Child because I think it was one of the Tom Cruise films, and I'm going that's Lee Child. So yeah, I know he's done it.
Terry Pratchett's in a lot of his adaptations.
Right?
He'll like
Yeah,
sneak in as something, a bit of a
yeah,
Han Lee style cameo.
yeah. I think it's compulsory. I think you should.
I think some of them, like Netflix, if I'm remembering rightly from someone telling me, I think Netflix and things says that you can.
Right.
Part of the conflict, like part of the contract of it is that you can go and see it being filmed, and you can make
Yeah, I bet that's fun.
a cameo, like in a crowd or something like that. Like not be a big
Yeah.
feature, but they'll let the author.
Well, oh right, that's interesting. Laura says that Jane Harper was in the crowd in the dry. Well, also I do know Jane Harper. I think she wrote the screenplay for that as well, which was good that she wrote the screenplay as well. So yeah. Oh, and Harlan Coben. Oh well, I shall make sure I get a role now. I could
There you go.
possibly.
For the future. Would you want to write a screenplay of yours, or?
Oh, I don't know how, but I suppose if someone said we commission you to do the screenplay, I'm sure I'd learn how to do it. But I know it's a very different technique, isn't it? Because obviously with novels, you are in the character's head, and as well as describing scene, da da da. Whereas it's very well, it's dialogue, isn't it? And then it's stage direction and, so to speak, screen direction and dialogue. And there isn't a lot of dialogue either. Whereas in books, there's loads of dialogue, isn't there? But actually, I think there isn't as much as you think. It's because it's all to do with where you're looking and your expression and what's going, So I'm sure some people who are here, I can't see who everyone is because it says Facebook user, but yeah, I'm sure some people know that more than me, how to write a screenplay.
Donna's here. She said hi.
Oh, hi, Donna. You got a mention back there, Donna.
I don't know if she had a mention. We'll see. Tell us about your event you did at Harrogate, because I was going to try and sneak into the crowd, but I missed it.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was obviously you all know Graham Bartlett, and he's ex-police, isn't he? And he really knows his stuff and is an advisor to the stars. And so I think him and Dale came up with this idea of basically doing a role play, if you like. And I was the solicitor. I was the criminal defence solicitor. And basically there was me and Dale. Dale was the alleged criminal and me sitting there, and and two people came up per 15 minutes from the audience and pretended to be police officers, and they basically asked the questions. And it was really good because it just goes to show how it's really hard as the DCs or whatever, the DSs or whatever, to ask questions. And especially when there was some solicitor being annoying, trying to shut them down the whole time. So it was really fun. Yeah, it was good. We enjoyed it. So hopefully we can do it again another time. And if anyone sees it anywhere, it was only a £5 for people, authors or readers, to be the pretend detectives. And I think it was really quite good fun. And also then you got the feedback from Graham how to write that scene and what's realistic about it and what's not realistic about it. So, adapting it for crime fiction. So it was good.
That is kind of handy, isn't it? Doing something like that.
Yeah.
Then, the feedback about changing it to help write for crime fiction is.
Yeah, and Donna's saying it was. Yeah, you were a very good detective, Donna. It was funny. What about your partner in crime though? She was a bit feisty, wasn't she? Sharon, she was funny. Your wifey was funny.
It must be. So I guess it's limited to like a certain number of people who can take part then.
Yeah, but I think not all the slots were taken up. So maybe if the news spread more, because we did it in our slot, so each 12 minutes with two different people. So you could do 8 people per hour to give everyone a go. And in fact, because I think we thought, how long will they need? But I think 12 minutes is enough, because a lot of the detectives ran out of steam, and Graham was really mean and made them carry on. Because it's so hard to come up with the questions. So if anyone's going to decide to change careers and go into the police, it ain't that easy.
We need to see what teachers are like doing it, because they're normally good at thinking up questions on the spot.
You'll have to do it.
Yeah, then I would be any good.
But you're teacher of the year and of the century, and you're getting all these certificates and awards.
I'm not teacher of the year or the century. Very not. But yeah, no, I'm not that good.
You are though. I've made a blush now.
Laura said she did
top teacher.
Laura said she did a mock trial in sixth form.
Yeah, I bet that was interesting. Yeah. I wish I'd done that, because obviously I was in the law, and it would have been quite handy to do the mock trial before I did it for real, because it's a bit scary. Just saying it's a real McCoy. So
did you study though? I guess it depends what you take at sixth form. Were you thinking about going into doing law at sixth form?
No, I think at sixth form I was thinking I'm not going to go into the law, and then I sort of did. I quite fancied reading English, but because my dad and brothers were all in the law, I sort of was a bit blinkered, thinking I'll carry on doing it. But it's been quite handy for writing ideas and stuff, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, it must be. I mean, it's got to be handy when you go in to write crime. I mean, like you're saying, like Graham gets asked off to be an advisor to the stars. Do you ever get?
No, I'm a bit out of touch, and sometimes people ask me. The law changes all the time, so you need to give any advice. Whereas I think Graham's a lot more on top. I'm sure the police procedures and whatnot change as well. But yeah, so I did. Obviously, I did some crime when I was training, but when I qualified, I did divorce law, and of course, divorce law has completely changed. Because it's all no fault now, so you can't do these long petitions about people's behaviour and stuff. So that's really changed. So I'd be no good at advising anyone about that.
That
So
must be quite interesting though, doing divorce law.
it was interesting, but it's also it was interesting because it was a complete eye opener. When you're sort of only in your mid-20s and you discover what on earth goes on behind closed doors. It was really shocking, some of the stuff, and you have to keep a straight face and go, yeah, yes, of course. Especially from men who these older guys were having to tell me really intimate things. It must be they must have hated having this young solicitor. They must have wanted like another guy or something. But anyway, but it's also, so it was really interesting, and I did it because I wanted to help people, but it gets quite wearing because you're like a counsellor really, and because your clients are going through a tough period in life, they rely very heavily on you, and so it's really quite emotionally draining. So yeah, I sort of stepped away eventually. So oh, what's
Yeah,
this,
lots
Laura?
of people talking about muck courts. Donna did one at university.
That's good.
Laura said she.
Oh, the lovely lecturer turned into a devil. What's policeman's heel due to an injury? Is that, do policemen get that? Because it's really hurt. I've had a bit of that myself. It does hurt, doesn't it? From walking over COVID, during COVID, all the walking. So I didn't know that was called policeman's heel. That's interesting.
I think a lot of like policemen do because they spend a lot of time walking, don't they? Or
Yeah,
a bit like
yeah,
postmen.
yeah, yeah. I've never thought of it like that before. The things you learn.
There you go. See,
Yeah.
all the things you learn.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant.
What made
So,
you? So I'm guessing why you would give up doing like the divorce law, but what made you go from that to writing?
yeah, so well, in the between time, I did professional indemnity work, or legal malpractice, as they call it in the US. But yeah, but I think I was always writing in a way because even when I thought I wasn't writing, I was writing because I've always made up stories in my head before sleep, and then obviously the law was writing. It involves a lot of writing, and so I think in a way it was a natural. And I used to do poetry at school with the boys, exchanging poems. So I was always doing that. So I think finally I unleashed it in fiction, doing short stories. And then I moved on to making the short stories longer and making doing novels. So yeah, I think it's always been there. I think the desire to tell a story, if it's there, it will out, as I'm sure other people like Malcolm and the other authors know. It's bursting to get out. So it
They're
will
quite
find a way.
burst out and done well, though, haven't they? Been quite well received. You've been CWA long listed, and things
Yes.
like that.
Yeah. No, I was pleased with that because the CWA, it was a shortlist for a short story, which is good because I thought I couldn't write short stories anymore. I forgot how to do them. So that was nice. Yeah. And yeah, I get lots of nice comments about my book, so that's brilliant as well. So yeah, bring on the stars, everybody. I get very excited even now, even on book number 12. I get as excited with 5 stars as I ever did. So
So
I'm
keep
despondent about 1 star as I ever did.
Do you still read all your reviews?
Not all. I've just stopped because obviously this one, The Stranger Beside Me, was only out on Thursday. So I'm still in the honeymoon period of reading reviews, and at the moment the few reviews that have come in are good ones, but as all those writers will know, it won't take long for it the average to go down, because well, not everyone's going to like it, are they? For start, and that's fair enough. Not everyone likes the book, and that's absolutely fair enough. It's when you get the ones where you just feel. I don't like it when people post like a 1 star and don't say why. I think if you're going to post a 1 star, just at least make some comment as to why, because otherwise it's just too easy to bring people's average down. To press a button and not justify yourself. And then, of course, some people do justify themselves, and they're hilarious. Some of the things they say, or depressing, but yeah.
I don't think I would give a book a 1-star review unless it was really offensive. Like it actually was like genuinely offensive. Do you know what I mean? Like it crossed a line of taste. You've lost your sound. Like that. No, I can't hear you. Can anyone else hear Caroline? No, you're gone. Kaz, what am I reading? Oh, Sam, what a question. I don't know. I'm reading Babel and trying very badly to finish it because it's massive. So I keep putting it down places and forgetting that I'm reading it. So I need to pick something else. Any suggestions, Sam, for good books to read? What are you reading? And we'll see if Caroline England comes back, because I've just taken her out the stream, and hopefully she'll come back and we can hear her. And in the meantime, go to Amazon and have a look at all of her books. My favourite one of hers so far has been The Sinner, which Sam and Donna appear in, and which is why you got unmentioned on her. Apparently, people with surnames that Caroline knows are always a nice characters. And Trevor, you need to explain your. I told the police lots of different stories and they didn't believe any of them. What were you telling them stories about? Sam is reading for next weekend's event. Leslie is The Confession Room. Eileen Middleton is Bill. Number one is great too. I always like Leslie Lloyd's reviews because she likes similar books to me. So I'm going to pay attention to both of those, Leslie. Thank you, because I've definitely picked up books on your recommendations. Sam is reading for next weekend's event, and she is doing, what's your panel, Sam, that you're doing? There are 3 good panels on, and then we've got Graham Bartlett and Jack Jordan in conversation on the 13th. I'm doing the police procedural panel. And there's Unusual Sleuths that Karen's doing, and Do Not Know What. Sam's doing the PI panel. And Trevor Belshaw was telling the police stories about how he was sitting on a pub wall drinking beer when the cop knew he was only 15. And Donna's reading Basim Khan's new book. And Laura Hamilton's just finished Fair Rosaline, a twist on Romeo and Juliet. Yay!
I don't know what happened then. It just didn't want to, but I'm back. If anyone's still there waiting.
They are still there. We've just been discussing what everyone's reading.
All right, okay, that's good. What have I missed?
Leslie doing some recommendations, and then everyone else telling us what they were reading.
Oh, well, that's good. I shall be able to read that later, won't I?
Yeah, go back with some good recommendations.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look.
What
Yeah,
were you telling us before you disappeared?
I've
Because
no
we were
idea. It was
silent.
obviously I was struck down. I probably said the wrong thing, and like, so but,
Mel Pittman had actually asked you what you'd been reading and enjoying a
uh,
lot further up the stream.
well, the book I'm at the moment, I'm reading a Helene Kist book, which is out, I think, in a couple of weeks. But what I have read before then is my lovely friend Elizabeth Carpenter. Did anyone read
Mm.
99 Red Balloons? It was a really brilliant hit, and we were both at Avon together, and we're debut authors, and she's still my lovely friend. And her next book is out on the 14th of August, and I think it's called The Family on Smith Street. And I've really enjoyed that. And in fact, I've been listening it to, I didn't know you could. Someone told me about this app you can download, and you can, even though it's not an audio book, you can listen to the book. Because I like walking and whatnot. So it's really nice to be able to listen to it as you're striding along. So I've enjoyed that. And Leslie said she loved, yeah. Well, this one I think it's Libby's back to, yeah, because it's a really good book, and it's good and twisty, and characters you feel you warm to, etc. So yeah, that's the last book I read. And then on holiday I read is it called The House on Needler Street? Anyone read that, with Katrine, what she called Catriona? I don't know if is it Catriona? What's she called? Ward, Catriona Ward. Um, that's an unusual book, if anyone's read it, because I loved her book Sundial, which is why I read her earlier book, The House on Needler Street. But I think I preferred Sundial. So anyone read it? No. It has a point of view of a cat, which is unusual, isn't it? But yeah, it's a psychological thriller, So yeah, yeah, yeah. You better get reading, Donna.
I really liked lessons in chemistry last year, so that has a part that's from the dog's point of view.
Really? Yeah, yeah.
But that's works really well.
What? Sorry, which book was that, Kaz?
Lessons in chemistry.
All right, because also Tina Baker had a bit of a dog's point of view, didn't she? In I can't remember which book it was. It's the one I quoted for. I can't remember the title. It's up there somewhere. Yeah, but she had a bit of a dog's point of view from that. But yeah, but I enjoyed Tina's next book, Make Me Clean. I thought that was a good book. But I think I've been reading a bit more than I have, recently. I've picked up again and started reading more, so that's good. Oh, got it. Oh, right. Yeah.
Tina Baker.
All right. It was weird. Yeah. Yeah. Leslie's saying about, yeah. But it went down. Isn't it funny how some books are a massive hit and it might just not be for you? It's like that one. What's it called? The Crawdads. Everybody in the world loved that book, and I felt I was just about the only person who didn't. It's not that I hated it; I just couldn't understand the hype. But so everyone likes different things.
They do, and I think sometimes, like, I might buy a book that's been hyped, but I'll wait for a while to read it.
Yeah.
So it'll die down, and then I can make up my own mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how much. You see, I do feel that. Unfortunately, I think we're all a little bit affected by, if you do hear all the noise about things. I think, well, certainly it makes you read it, doesn't it? Whether it's good or bad, and which is great for the author because it's selling books, isn't it? And but I do wonder sometimes whether there's an emperor, not with all us intelligent people here, but with some people, I wonder whether there's an element of emperor's clothes, you know people are told it's a good book, so they believe it's a good book or good story. But I don't know.
A lot of books now that come to fame through TikTok, isn't there? And that's like.
How do you do? Can someone tell me how to get famous on TikTok? And then I'll do it.
I don't know.
I try on TikTok. I'm rubbish.
It seems to work really well for like YA books and
Yeah,
kind of romance
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
But they are mixed qualities I've found from the ones I've read that have been like, TikTok made me buy it kind of books.
Yeah. Yeah. What I need to do is find a blogger who is really popular on TikTok. I can't even say it. TikTok, and bribe them or blackmail them, and then they can say this book's really good. You know, I need to get some dirt on them, don't I, so I can blackmail them. How's that for a good story?
That'd be more crime authory, wouldn't it? I feel like there's a crime book in there somewhere about like some crime authors blackmailing
Yeah,
TikTok
it's going to be my
influencers.
next book. So,
Yeah, there you go.
because Leslie's saying that, yeah, the hype, and sometimes they don't stand. Yeah, and someone else has said they couldn't get into the Richard Osman books. I haven't tried, but I've heard a few people sort of say they're. But I think it's because are they? I think are they good feel books? Is that why they're so popular? Because they're more, you know, it's the cozy crime maybe.
I'm about 2 books into the series of the Richard Osman ones, and I do like them, but they are cozy crime.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think you have to give him a bit of leeway with the first. He definitely finds his characters and voice more in the second.
right, right, yeah. Well, I like him because he buys drinks at Harrogate, so.
I think I must have gone home before he bought drinks at Harrogate.
Yeah, I know. Apparently, he did it last year as well. It's so very, very kind of him. I mean, he wasn't obviously personally going around, "Do you want a drink?" Yeah.
The guy from the Beautiful South does that as well, apparently, before he does concerts.
Who's
The
that?
guy, the lead singer of the Beautiful South does it
Really?
before he does concerts. Yeah, and Caroline's disappeared again. So the books speak for themselves. Send them a pamper kit for while they're reading them. Would that work, Sam? Sending people? I think you need to. I don't know. You were there, Kaz, but we missed it. Oh, did I miss the free drinks? That's not down, Sam. It's expensive at the bar in Harrogate as well. Oh, we've not got Caroline back yet. Let's try giving her a minute. It would work for Sam, apparently, sending her a pamper kit. Wouldn't work for me, but maybe if you sent me gin, that would work. I'd be more tempted then. Oh, no, lost her again. Donna's even worse than us, Sam. She didn't know Richard Osman had bought until she got home. Got you back.
Why does that happen? Is it when the internet goes down or something?
Don't know.
I don't know. It's never happened before. Maybe I'm actually a ghost and I'm not a real person.
Sam gave you a suggestion for getting onto TikTok.
Oh, go on. What do I need to do,
She
Sam?
said your books speak for themselves, but you should send them a pamper kit for while they're reading them.
All right. So, but how do I find out where to send them to and who to send them to? You see, I need you to tell me, message me and tell me exactly what I need to do.
Laura says for TikTok you need sprayed edges, holographic sleeve, and a big bar of Cadbury chocolate.
Ah, well, I understand the chocolate part. That makes sense to me. Listen, I'll do anything for a bar of Cadbury's chocolate, especially if it's whole nut. So I get that.
Sprayed edges are a big thing, I think, on TikTok. Like,
So, what
you know,
does
the
that mean?
fancy- you know when they spray a pattern. I'm trying to see if I've got any sprayed edges books, but I don't because I'm not like that fussed about fancy ones. You know when they spray a pattern on the edges.
Oh, right. Of the book.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
And
you
I
meant
give you
like
a
of your
edges.
creation. Right.
No.
Well, I have to have, if I ever get published again, I have to have words and ask for a sprayed, edge. But yeah,
I mean, they look pretty, and I wouldn't object if I got a book with them. I just don't
yeah,
go out my way to go and buy
a sprayed edge, right. God, the
a
things you
sprayed
learn.
edge.
I know all sorts that I didn't know earlier. So
There
this
you
is
go.
good.
And Sam says she can't even log back into her TikTok, so she's no use to you.
Well, that's not good enough. Why have they blocked you? Do they know your trouble, Sam?
Probably. I tried it and couldn't. Like, it auto plays all the videos. It just made me feel sick, so I gave up.
Right, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it's there's only so much time in the day, and I think you can get sucked in by TikTok or even just Twitter. Like when there's an argument going on, it's like, oh, and then you're having to read all the people's comments, something going on. So yeah, you can lose hours of your life without realizing, I think. So yeah,
Um,
maybe the City Rose books could do, Laura. Yeah, they'd look pretty, wouldn't they? Well, one of them, I think it was the attic at Wilton Place. They put a bit of a shiny bit on one of them. I can't remember which one it was now. Or it might have been the shadows. That yeah, I think in the shadows this little it's sort of slightly shiny there. So that's my best cover. That is a little bit got a bit of shine on. So yeah. They're fun though. Covers.
uh, yeah, Donna said she needs to lose TikTok. So Donna's the person to ask.
Right, Donna. Right, you're the person. You need to tell me what to do and when.
There
Yeah.
you go. She seems to know what she's doing. That's because she's younger than me and Sam.
Well, obviously she's not younger than me, but you know.
No, clearly not. You're the youngest of all
Yeah,
of us.
I just look old. I'm really young, really.
You don't look.
But so Cadbury's chocolate is rubbish, apparently, according to Leslie. But I tell you what, it seems to taste okay to me. But haven't bars gone smaller? That annoys me. That they're still charging you the same or more, and the bars have gone so small. They're shrinking.
Yeah, my husband complains about this, but then he also has this thing about a museum in Hull that he says a whale has shrunken. I keep telling him it's just he's got bigger over the years.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So what's Donna saying? She's only lost a year or so.
Oh no, she's only younger by a year or two.
Oh, I
I'm
see.
not. No,
Right, I'm with
that's
you.
not. It's not true, Donna. Um, no, not those people don't like Cadbury's.
Oh, right. I do
It's
like.
off the whole thing.
Oh goodness. I could go on TikTok and say I hate Cadbury's, and then it might cause a thing.
It
But
might do,
someone
but
has
like
probably
that
already
whole
done that.
thing. Bit like that whole thing when they started off about the celebrations. So have
Oh
you seen
yeah.
when they do the celebrations advent calendars? And then we've lost her again. We're not doing well here. Um, at all. Hopefully she'll come back. But we just and she comes back and tells us about her Cadbury's addiction. Ah, she is now. Leslie says cream eggs were rubbish always, Leslie.
Oh, am I back?
You are back.
I
Well, you're
just
back.
noticed. Yeah, go on.
Well, you're back. Tell us how you managed to write such lovely characters that you get really involved with in your psychological thrillers. How is it? It must be quite hard getting people to buy into them, and it's very character driven, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I really like. I think obviously all my stuff is character driven, and I suppose I just sort of again go to bed and I sort of like climb into their heads and become them. And a lot of people as well say how emotional my books are, and it's funny because I don't see it like that until afterwards. I think, oh yeah, it is actually quite emotional. Yeah, so but I like that as well because I think that we all quite, even though obviously it's not like a romance or anything, none of the books are there, but I think people like the tugging of the heart a little bit. So yeah, and relationships and you know the, all sorts. I know it's weird, isn't it, the way they go. I'm going to try and write happy stories one day, and I'm trying to still make some things work out in the stories, sort of thing. And as I've said before, I think really I'm a frustrated romance writer because I always like to have a romance in the stories. Whether it works or not, there's always love there. But then love causes all sorts of problems at times, doesn't it? So it
And then
is.
going back to the start of your career, you know all the problems it can.
Well, that's it. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, good and bad. There's good bits and bad bits, aren't there? So, but yeah, we all crave it, don't we? It's the human condition, all craving love. So yeah, if I've got some love in there, it can't be all bad.
Would you so you're would you want to write kind of books outside of crime then?
Outside of crime?
Yeah.
Well, I did my first one. I think I've mentioned this before. My first book that was published, and it just came. It was a published book on just an ebook, and that was sort of chick lit, and it did have bits that that went wrong, because they obviously have to have things that go wrong, but and I managed to do that one time. Then only time I try and do something chirpy, it just all goes dark. So can't help it. So I don't think I'd be any good. I do like a romance, but yeah, a dark romance. So yeah, I can't help it. I go on the dark side. And I always think of, yeah, it's like, but I think I'm a bit like that as a character. I think my daughters are like, when I'll go, ooh, I'm sure there's more to that than meets the eye, and what's going on there in that room, sort of, and they're like, oh, well, what's she like? Can't people just be normal? Yeah, so I'm a bit of a one, looking for the underside.
Donna was crediting me as being younger than I was before you came back.
Oh, right. Well, that's
I think
nice.
she's only
Because I
about
know,
1 or 2 years younger than me when she's about 4.
well, I know Donna's big birthday's coming up, isn't it? So we'll have to wish her a happy birthday. Oh, I've just noticed it's next week. Woo! Are you doing anything, Donna? Anything exciting? I'll have to see.
That's what people want to do, don't they? I'm not a big fan of celebrating birthdays.
Yeah. Well, I
Mhm.
suppose, yeah. What, do you just celebrate other stuff? Is it just birthdays you're not bothered about?
I don't like overly being the centre of, like, a party or something.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So, I tend to me and my mum are 4 days apart birthday-wise. We always celebrate together.
That's nice. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm with you as well. It can be a bit intense if you're the center of attention. Some people like it more than others. It's like me and my husband had a wedding anniversary. We had a party not long ago, and he loves it being all the center of attention and doing speeches and doing wild dancing and everything. And I just go around topping up everyone's glasses. I'm like the glorified waitress, but that suits me. I'm just happy just to go from people to people. So yeah, it
We
was
had
fun.
our we had our wedding anniversary yesterday and didn't buy each other a card or anything. We went out for a coffee,
Oh, that's all right. You did something.
which was
Who
nice.
says romance is dead?
I know, exactly. There you go. Donna's going to Brussels on the Eurostar,
Oh, have a lovely time, Donna. Brilliant. That
and she
sounds
also
really
says she doesn't crave love, men are more hassle than they're worth.
well. I think you're probably right there. Oh, have we got any men here left? I know Malcolm disappeared. So is
And
is
Trevor
Dan
was
still here? Have we got any left men standing? Raise your hand.
they're not all they're not all more trouble than they're worth. Some are good.
Is
Sam's rechristened you as the Queen of Dark Romance.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll try. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It's a
But
good
I do.
name. Spot
Yeah.
on something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like to go with your quote that Helen Fields gave you about your new book.
Yeah. Yeah. She's so good at quotes, and she's given me a really nice one as well for my this one that's just come out, The Stranger Beside Me. She put, I bloody loved it. And I thought, yeah, get in. Helen bloody loved it. So
Do
thank
you
you, Helen.
think that persuades people to read books? I'm gonna be honest, like if I see a recommendation from an author that I really like on something, I would be more tempted to buy it.
I think that's right. I think that is true. But then now I know some authors do give a lot of quotes, and you wonder whether they genuinely loved each one the same. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't not quote if you're asked to quote, can you? Unless you hate it. So I don't know, but yeah, I agree. Though I agree. Good authors. You think, oh, if Mike Craven says, "Oh, this is a really," you're like, "Oh, right, yeah," So I think we are influenced. So you have to be nice to the right people. Get a quote.
I think I definitely have. I know I've bought books based on author quotes sometimes, not always. And nowadays I go more off people I know's recommendations. So if Leslie Lloyd, she said she ignores author quotes. If she tells me a book's good, we tend
Yeah,
to like similar things, so I would listen to
yeah,
it.
yeah. I've heard this about Leslie Lloyd as well.
Yeah.
You need to impress Leslie Lloyd.
You do. She's very fair reviewer, I think. And generally when she's told me something, I've gone, "Yeah, I agree."
Oh, that's good. It's good to know, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. It is a book recommendation. That's the best way, isn't it? Without spoilers. I don't like anyone to. You know, when someone starts to tell you about a TV program and they go, "Oh, it's really good," but they start going into detail about one, and I'm like, "No, don't tell me. Let me watch it." So yeah,
Don't ever read a book near my dad then, because he's likely to tell you.
is a
Yeah, he does. He's very well known for it. Like, "Oh, this person's really good.
oh no,
Read this bit. This bit's coming up and it's really good."
yeah. So do you tell him off or don't you mind?
Well, I don't really mind as much, but we tend to, if we really want to read something, we tend to buy multiple versions
Yeah.
and then we'll read it at the same time,
Oh right, that's a good idea. Yeah, yeah.
and then he
Sam's just
won't
saying
give it away.
she said Sam's saying she hates spoilers. I do. I'm a real, I'm like, "Arr!" I don't even read
I'm,
blurbs, so
I'm not. I will read blurbs. It really annoys me if books don't have them.
yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, I know what you mean, but I just think a lot of blurbs give too much away, and
But
so I'd rather someone go read that book or be an author that I know I'll enjoy it, and just get on with the book.
I will
Because
also, and it's good that with reading it's off the end, sometimes read the back page to see what's going on before I get to the end.
I've heard about that people doing that. That's weird. Sorry, I won't do that. Yeah, I'm
Uh,
with you, Leslie. Some books do give too much away. The blurbs definitely do. So yeah, keep away from them.
right, reminders, go on. So, Stranger Beside Me, it's been out 4 days.
Yes, and
Tell
here
us
it
all
is
about
again.
it.
There's a lovely cover, and yes, so this is just out 4 days old. So please go out and maybe give it a go. And it's getting some really good reviews, and everybody has made a big thing about the ending, and no one so far has guessed it. And it's a jaw-dropping emotional ending. So read it, see if you can get it. I shouldn't say that really, because someone will. Because when you're used to reading a lot of this stuff, you do. But hopefully you enjoy the journey as well, and the relationship and what happens, and lots of twists and turns, as all my things are. So it'd be great if it's on Kindle and in paperback, and I'm hoping that I might get an audio deal at some stage. So because I'd like to listen to it myself. So hopefully.
Brilliant. And you got some local book signings and stuff coming up, haven't you? And you're going
Yeah,
to Waterstones.
yeah, I'm at Withington Library in Manchester. If anyone's in the Manchester area on Wednesday, then I'm at uh, Warrington Waterstones on Saturday. Then the following Saturday, I think I'm at Oldham Waterstones. And I'm at a lovely bookshop in a place called Romilly in Manchester called Serenity Bookshop. And I think there are a few other bits and bobs going on. So if anyone happens to be local, catch up with me and come and say hi. That'd be nice.
Yeah, well, sounds local.
Yeah,
Hopefully
will
she
do.
can.
If any of them, if you happen to be in the area, I'm trying to think what else. I think there are some other bits and bobs, but I can't remember what they are now. So yeah, so do come, please. Be nice, especially the library events, because it's just nice to get a few people in the audience. But and in Waterstones, so I don't have to accost too many people. But I went to Stockport Waterstones on Friday, and they told me that say for one author, I sold the most books in that week. And guess who the author was?
Come on.
David Walliams. So
Ah,
I was number 2 to David Walliams of books sold in that store. So I
that's
think they were
pretty
pleased
good.
with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely getting invited back there.
Yeah, definitely. I know they were lovely. Callum and Darren from the Stockport Waterstones. Lovely.
And thank you so much for joining us again.
Oh, well, thank you. Time's up already, isn't it?
I know. Well, we lost you a couple of times.
I know. That's it. I went to get a quick whiskey.
Fair enough.
Well, cheers. Night, everybody. Lovely to see you all, so to speak. See you, Kaz, and sort of see you. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Cheers.